Welcome to yet another episode of Vinjanaveethi presented by Goodness TV. So, now we have completed with our first, second and third unit, isn't it? Yes, and today let us make a revision of the very first unit. So, can you just tell me what is the title of the first unit? Yes, of course, what is that? Glimpses of Green. So, you remember the unit, isn't it? Now, tell me which are the lessons of that unit? Yes, there are 3 lessons in your first unit. Which are they? The first lesson is Adventures in a Banyan Tree. Isn't it? Yes, Adventures in a Banyan Tree written by Ruskin Bond and it's a short story. Isn't it? Yes. Now tell me about the second lesson. Yes, it's a short story, The Snake and the Mirror, written by Waikem Muhammad Bashir. And what about the third lesson? It's a poem entitled as Lines Written in Early Spring, and it's written by the very famous nature poet William Wordsworth, isn't it? Yes. So, now let us see about the first lesson. Just tell me the title of the lesson. Yes, Adventures in a Banyan Tree, written by the very famous Ruskin Bond. And who is the main character of the short story? Yes, you could see a boy who loved nature, a boy who loved the animals in the nature, isn't it? Yes, and we saw one of his friend, who is that? A grey colored squirrel. Then we have seen his hobbies. Tell me which are his hobbies? Yes, he just made a platform on the top of the banyan tree. Then he used to climb on the top of the banyan tree and he used to sit on the platform and yes, read books. Often when he is bored with the books, he used to look down to the banyan tree and enjoy the sights. But that particular afternoon, something strange happened. We have seen that strange. What is that? Yes, we saw a fight between a cobra and a mongoose. Who got won in the battle? Yes, it's the mongoose who won in the battle. And later, we have seen the friendship between the white rat and grey colored squirrel, isn't it? Yes, so you recollected the lesson, right? Okay, now let us move into the second lesson. Tell me the heading of the lesson. Yes, The Snake and the Mirror, written by Waikem Muhammad Bashir. Who is the character of this lesson? Yes, it's the homeopath. And what is the speciality of this homeopath? He is such a humorous man who loved to marry a fat, rich lady doctor, isn't it? Yes. Why? Because he believed that since he is very thin and lean, he believed that if some sort of fight occurs between him and his wife, what happens? He could run fast so that his fat lady doctor wife, she couldn't follow him, isn't it? Yes. Also, we have seen the fight between the cobra and the homeopath, or the cobra coming to attack the homeopath, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so that's all about the second lesson. Now, we have seen the third lesson. It's a poem, right? Written by the very famous nature poet William Wordsworth, right? Here, Wordsworth just portrays about a boy or a man who rests under a tree and he just enjoys the beauty of the nature. He just enjoys the sound which comes from the nature. Then, in this happiness, in the midst of this happiness, some sort of sorrows or pain comes into his mind. Why? Because he just thinks about human beings. He just thinks about the cruelty performed by the human beings to the nature as well as to other human beings. So, this is all about this lesson or this poem. Now, let us see some of the main important questions which may appear for your exam from this unit. So, moving to the very first question, let us see the very first question. It's a comprehension section. This comprehension section, it's an important question for your exam. So, let us read that. Read the extract from Adventures in a Banyan Tree and answer the questions that follow. Now, let us see the passage. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastures, and parrots and crows, squabbling with each other all the time. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. Halfway up the tree, I had built a small platform on which I would often spend the afternoons when it wasn't too hot. I could read there, propping myself up against the bole of the tree with cushions taken from the drawing room. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, the Mowgli stories and the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs and Lucia May Alcott made up my bag of very mixed reading. So, this is the passage for you, and I believe that it is very clear for you since you have learned it in the lesson, right? Yes. So, let us see some of the questions which may appear from that passage. The very first question is, when would birds flock into the branches of the banyan tree? When would birds flock into the branches of the banyan tree? When would these birds come in flocks? Let us see the passage. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. So, when does these birds come in flocks? It is in the fig season. It is in the month of the fig season that these birds comes in flocks. Clear, isn't it? Yes. Moving to the second question. A word in the passage means noisy quarrel. Identify the word. Which is the word denotes noisy quarrel? We have learned it when we did the lesson. Which is that word? Squabbling. See, it's squabbling. What is the meaning of squabbling? Noisy quarrel. It's clear for you, isn't it? Yes. Moving ahead. Let's see the third question. What did the boy do while sitting on the platform of the banyan tree? What did the boy do while sitting on the platform of the banyan tree? What did he do? Let's see the passage. See, the boy could read there, propping himself against the bole of the tree with cushions taken from the drawing room. So, he used to read books. Is it clear for you? Yes. Okay, now let us see the next question. How did the banyan tree become the noisiest place? Tell me, how did the banyan tree become the noisiest place? Let us see. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. Means, during this fig season, birds of all kind would flock into the branches, and thus the banyan tree became the very noisiest place ever. Clear? Yes. So, now let us see the next question. Name the books that gave the boy the mixed reading experience. Point out the books which these boy used to read. Which is that? Let us see the paragraph. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, the Mowgli stories and the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs and Lucia May Alcott. These are the books which the boy used to read. Which are they? Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, the Mowgli stories and the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs and Lucia May Alcott. It's clear for you and the answer is known for you, isn't it? Yes. So, that's all about the question. Now, let's move into the next question. See, here also we could see a comprehension section, but this is from a poem. Now, let's read the question. Read the following lines from the poem, lines written in early spring and answer that follow. Let's see the lines. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove isolate reclined. In that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind, to her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. So, these lines are very familiar for you, isn't it? Yes. So, now let us see the questions which may appear from these lines. The very first question is, what does the poet mean by the expression 1,000 blended notes? Or what is the meaning of the expression 1,000 blended notes? Let us see. See, here what is the meaning of this 1,000 blended notes? It simply denotes the different kinds of sounds which may come from the nature, or the sounds or the chirping which we can hear from the nature. And we have seen this when we learn the poem, isn't it? Yes. Now, let's see the second question. Why did the pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the poet's mind? What is the question? Why did the pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the poet's mind? So, tell me, what was that sad thing disturbing the poet? See, here he was very happy when thinking about the nature, when enjoying the beauty of the nature. All the sounds which he heard from the nature gave him happiness. But immediately what happened? He just thought, or the thoughts about human beings came into his mind. He just thought the cruelty of man performing to the nature as well as to other human beings. And this thought made him sad. Is it clear? So, what was that sad thing? The thoughts about human beings, the cruelty performed by the human beings to nature as well as other human beings. Clear, isn't it? Moving to the next question. Pick out an example of auditory image from the given lines. What is that? Pick out the example of an auditory image. See, you have learned about auditory images while dealing the poem, right? What is an auditory image? An image which helps you to hear, or something which you hear with the ears, isn't it? Yes. So, can you pick out an expression or example for the auditory image? 1,000 blended notes, isn't it? Why? Because 1,000 blended notes simply denotes what? The sounds from the nature, and hence it is an example for an auditory image. Clear? Yes. Moving ahead. Identify the lines that tells us nature is linked to the soul of human beings. Identify the lines that tells us nature is linked to the soul of human beings. Which is that line? Identify it from the poem. See, to her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran. Is that? Yes. Okay, so this is all about the comprehension. Now, let us move ahead. The next question is, read the following lines from the poem, lines written in early spring, and write as note of appreciation, focusing on the theme, imagery and other poetic devices. See, here some sort of lines are given. Just think whether these lines are familiar for you. Let us read the lines. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from the heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Is this lines familiar for you? Yes, you have studied, isn't it? So, what you have to do is, you have to make an appreciation of these lines, including all the poetic devices. You have learned these alliterations or assonance or poetic devices such as rhyming words, rhyme schemes, etc. while dealing this poem, right? Yes. So, including all those things, make a beautiful appreciation of this poem. Clear? Yes. So, now let us move into the next question. Prepare a profile of William Wordsworth using the hints given below. Use appropriate linkers wherever necessary. See, we have learned to make profiles, isn't it? Yes. And here it is been asked to make profile of William Wordsworth. The hints are born April 7, 1770, Cockermouth, England, famous as one among the triers of Romantic Revolution in poetry, title Poet Laureate 1843 to 1850, notable works The Solitary Reaper, The Prelude, Lyrical Ballads, The World is Too Much with Us, Movement, Romanticism. Died April 23, 1850, age 80, Westmoreland, England. See, so these are the hints given for you. What you have to do is prepare a profile of William Wordsworth. Tell me, how can we prepare the profile of William Wordsworth? See, first of all, you have to give a heading as William Wordsworth. Then, how can the profile be written? For example, let us see. William Wordsworth, one among the triers of Romantic Revolution in poetry, was born on April 7, 1770, Cockermouth, England. He was entitled as Poet Laureate of the period 1843 to 1850. He has just contributed many different works to the world of literature such as The Solitary Reaper, The Prelude, Lyrical Ballads, The World is Too Much with Us, and he is an important figure of the movement Romanticism. This famous nature poet died at the age of 80 on April 23, 1850 at Westmoreland, England. So, this is the short profile of William Wordsworth. To this, you can add as many points which you knows about William Wordsworth and prepare a beautiful profile. So, that's all about this. Now, let's see the next question. The boy in the story, Adventures in a Banyan Tree, had a wonderful experience during his vacation. He narrated the events to his friends. Prepare the likely narrative. See, you have learned how to prepare narratives, isn't it? We all do narrations in our day-to-day life conversations, right? For what, or what is the purpose of doing narratives or narrations? See, with these narrations, we just describe some events or something happened to others. What is the purpose of narration? We are just describing an event or something which we heard or something like that to somebody else, isn't it? Yes. So, here the question is, imagine that you are the boy in the story Adventures in a Banyan Tree and you spend your vacation in your grandfather's house. Later, you went to your friends and you are just describing this to your friends. Hints are old banyan tree, favorite domain, friendship with squirrel, hot summer, making platform for reading, fight between mongoose and the snake, supporters of mongoose, friendship of white rat and grey squirrel. These are the provided hints. What you have to do is connecting all these hints, make a beautiful narrative which you could describe to your friends. How can we start it? Just imagine how can we write this narrative. You can just start as if telling that during my vacations I just went to my grandfather's house. I had a very large old banyan tree in my grandfather's house and I used to spend my leisure time there in the banyan tree, and I prepared a platform on the top of this banyan tree. I also had a friend there and it's a grey colored squirrel, and I used to sit on the top of this platform and I used to read several books, and I also used to enjoy the sights down the banyan tree. Once something strange happened there. What was that, you know? There a mongoose and a cobra came to fight each other. A battle took place there and I was just little panic. Why? Because I already knew that these mongooses and cobras are inborn enemies, and thus I got panic, but I was just waiting eagerly to see the conclusion or to see the results, and I was eager to know who is going to win in this battle. So, we all know who got win in the battle, right? So, including all these points, then you have to tell about who got won in the battle, then you have to include the friendship between the rat and the rabbit. Including all these, prepare a beautiful narrative. Is that clear for you? Yes. Moving ahead, the boy was excited to see the thrilling fight between the snake and the mongoose. That night, he wrote his feelings in the diary. Prepare the likely diary entry. My dear children, you have learned how to prepare diary entries. Also, you know what is the purpose of making or writing diaries, isn't it? Yes. So, here the question is that, imagine that you are the boy and you just saw the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. And on that particular night, you are just writing the diary. And what all things will we include in the diary writing? A diary is mainly used to jot our feelings, isn't it? Yes, we will write about some kind of events happened on that particular day, and we also will jot our feelings and whatever emotions which we had, isn't it? Yes, you are all familiar with it because many of you will be having the habit of diary writing, right? Okay, so how will you write this diary? First of all, you have to give the date, day and year on the top. What all? Date, day and year. Later, start preparing the diary. What all things will you include here? You can include that such as that boy writing the diary, so that you can write as if in the vacation as usual I just enjoyed sitting on the top of the banyan tree on the platform, and I was just enjoying the usual sights which I used to do every day. But this particular afternoon something strange happened. That is, I just saw the battle between a mongoose and a cobra. I just saw both the mongoose and the cobra coming together to make a fight. At first, I was little panic because they were inborn enemies, and I was eager to know the result of the battle. And I was excited, thrilled as well as I was panic. Then you can just describe how the battle went on, and you can also give who got won in the battle. So, describing all this in your own words and just giving the emotions and feelings which you had. If you are a boy, prepare a beautiful diary. Is it clear for you? Yes. So, now let us move into the next question. The question is, the news about the robbery that happened in the homeopath's house appeared in a leading daily. Write the likely news report. So, you know how to prepare newspaper reports, isn't it? We have prepared different newspaper reports, right? Yes. So, here we have seen about the robbery which took place in the homeopath's house. When the homeopath ran away from his house when he saw that cobra. Then this robbery or the news about this robbery appears in next day's newspaper. Imagine that you are the reporter. So, just write down this newspaper report. How can we write a newspaper report? First of all, we should give a catchy heading, right? How can we write the heading here? We could write as if a robbery took place, or we can write the robbery happened in a homeopath's house. You can give any title in such a way. After that, what will you do? On the left side, you will give the date and place. What is that? The date and place. So, continuing that, you can make the newspaper report. What all things will you include in the newspaper report? You can give the date, time, when and where the incident happened, what was the consequences, what was the effects, who were the victims, and what were the things happened over there. Including all these things, you can prepare a beautiful newspaper report. So, what are the things which we may include? We can include when and where the incident took place, who were the victims, what all things happened there, what was the side effects, then what is going to happen there. Including all these things, you can prepare a beautiful newspaper report. And here you can also mention about the robbery. When did the robbery took place, where it took place, what was the reason of this robbery, then what was the side effects, who were the victims, and what was the consequences. Including all these things, you can write or make a beautiful newspaper report. Is it clear for you? Yes. Now, let us see the next question. The English club of your school invites the noted writer Ruskin Bond to inaugurate a 3-day literary festival in your school. Prepare a notice to invite the parents, teachers and the students of the school to the function. So, what is the question about? To prepare a notice. Imagine that you are the club secretary of your school and you are just inviting Ruskin Bond to inaugurate a 3-day literary festival in your school. So, prepare the likely notice to invite the parents, teachers and the students. How can we write the notice? First of all, you have to give a catchy heading. Heading such as, for example, a 3-day literary festival or something like that. You can give a heading according to your wish. Later, under that, give the name of the school. Later, just write down the notice. You can also include in the notice such as where and when the function is going to conduct, who is going to inaugurate the function, who are the main guests of the function, what is the main theme of the function, and what are the things going to happen there. Including all these things, you should make a prepare beautiful notice. Then you should never forget to prepare the agenda of the notice. So, including all these things such as date and time, when and where this function is going to happen, what is the main theme of the function, who is going to inaugurate the same, who are the main guests of the same, including all these things, prepare a notice. So, that is all about that question. Moving ahead, based on the reading of the stories Adventures in a Banyan Tree and Snake and the Mirror, prepare a speech on the topic the need of living in harmony with nature to be delivered in the school assembly. See, we have learned about this first unit. This first unit is all about the nature, isn't it? Yes. So, moving to the very first lesson, Adventures in a Banyan Tree, we could see a boy and many different animals over there. We saw that the boy never attacked the animals, he just loved the animals in the nature. In back, these animals, they also never attacked this boy. They also made friendship with this boy. Moving to the second lesson, Snake and the Mirror, we saw a cobra and a homeopath, isn't it? Did this cobra attack the homeopath? No, right? Yes. In return, this homeopath also never attacked this cobra. So, we saw that these animals and human beings lived in a very good harmony. Including all these points, make a beautiful speech on the topic the need of living in harmony with nature. And while writing down the speech, you can include points such as what is the importance of nature, or what are the exploitations faced by the nature, or what is the importance of man and nature, living harmony between this man and the nature. Including all these points, you can prepare a beautiful speech. Moving ahead, the homeopath in the story Snake and the Mirror is a man who is able to find humor in every aspect of life. Prepare the character sketch of the homeopath. We have learned how to prepare a character sketch, isn't it? Yes. So, here it has been asked to prepare the character sketch of the homeopath from the story The Snake and the Mirror. We have seen that this homeopath is very humorous person. He just says that he wanted to marry a fat, rich lady doctor because if some sort of problems arise between them, he could run fast so that his wife will not catch this homeopath. Also, he has portrayed the fight or the battle between a cobra and the homeopath himself. It is a situation where we human beings will get panic if a cobra comes to attack us, isn't it? Yes. Here the homeopath also got panic when these cobra came to attack. But here this is being portrayed in a very humorous manner. Now pick out the instances where we could find that this homeopath is a very humorous person and prepare a beautiful character sketch. It's clear for you, isn't it? Moving ahead, do you think the story The Snake and the Mirror by Y.K. Muhammad Bashir is a dream or a reality or both? Give reasons to support your answer. See, do you think this story, The Snake and Mirror, is a dream or a reality? We have seen the cobra coming to attack this homeopath, but what happened there? Both the cobra and the homeopath lives in harmony. So, is this a dream or a reality or both? Now, please note your findings whether you support dream or reality and write the appropriate reasons for the same. So, this is all about your revision from the first unit. These are the questions which may appear for your exam. Hope you followed all the questions which we discussed today. And if you want to see this class again, it is available in Goodness TV's YouTube channel. Please provide your comments in the comment box below. Thank you.